Hi and welcome. Today I am talking about how you build a business that is profitable and successful but doesn't require you to run it. There's a reason why that might be an ultimate aim for you if you're a business person. You see, a business that runs profitably without you is a business that gives you free time to do the things that you love, to have an exceptional lifestyle, to spend quality time with your family, which is the most important thing as far as I'm concerned, and you get lots of profit. And incidentally, that's the type of business that sells for a lot of money when you sell it. See, sadly, most people build themselves into their business. And they build themselves into their business because they are programmed to through the schooling system. See, when you go to school, you are trained to be a resource, to become a very useful resource. So you are trained to develop your skill sets. And if you look at the underlying reason for going to school is to give you security. So if I can become a really useful resource, this is school thinking, then I can go out into the world because I don't have much power and I can trade my skills for someone with more power. Now, maybe there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not against education, but it's the underlying principle. You see, no one went to school and taught you how to control resources. If you were taught how to control resources, you'd be an entrepreneur. You see? So what happens is business owners here in the West, we all go to school and we don't realize it, but our schooling system's actually dumbing us down as entrepreneurs. And, there's a travesty that more people don't teach this because I see a whole bunch of people out there, they're always talking about getting more clients and more profit. Great. We teach our clients to do that as well. Okay, but what's the point if you're getting all that and it just traps you and waste, and you get caught up in your business on the hamster wheel of what we call the hamster wheel of business, right? I think it's a far better goal to say, I want way more clients. I want way more profit in the business, while at the same time building the business so it doesn't require me as the business owner. So I'm going to go through a couple of key principles. I'm going to be doing this really, really quickly. That will help you do it. And it's really important to say this, that, look, you might be like me. I like doing certain forms of work in my business. So I want to do it. I want to continue to work. It's part of what I love. And I'm able to use my gift of people reading as an example to really help people shift their patterns, or my strategic knowledge to help them build way more successful businesses. So I love that. The difference is, of course, is that if you have, as I do when I'm building a business, in mind the concept, I'm going to build this, so I'm building myself out of it, and therefore I'm able to choose when I work or not. It's really important. You've got to have that same end in mind. Anyway, I'm going to go through what we call the 3 stages today. I'm just going to pull up a presentation here to make this simple and easy. Okay. So, by the way, I learned this information many years ago. When I first left New Zealand, I went to Hawaii. And when I was in Hawaii, I met these guys, about 19 or 18 at the time. And I met these 2 gentlemen, and they would have been in their 40s at the time. They were really fit characters. They surfed as much as I did. And they would disappear sometimes for 3 or 4 weeks, and I wouldn't see them for a while. I'd say, "Where have you been?" And they'd been skiing in Europe or in Aspen, and they just had this amazing lifestyle. And so I sort of started to ask them questions. Well, how do you manage to do this? You see, because where I grew up, everyone's been indoctrinated with this work ethic, which I'll be talking about in a second, and been indoctrinated with a schooling system that has you thinking you have to do to make money. And these gentlemen had a completely different approach. And of course, they controlled income producing assets. I'll say that again. They controlled income producing assets. So that's where I started to learn about the principles that I'm sharing with you here today. And so at a young age, I always used these principles because I was a surfer and wanted to go surfing. And then suddenly I had kids. I fell in love and had kids and I wanted to be with my kids. So I've always used these principles in my business. And I really got to hone them because I spent many years working with some of the top franchise organizations here in Australia, working with their top franchise owners, because the franchise organization wanted the top franchise owners buying more franchises so that I would go in and help them build themselves out of their business, which was just as much of a strategy thing as a psychological thing, as you'll see in a second. So anyway, the end result of building yourself out of your business is that you are at what we call the independence stage. You are independent from your business. Your business runs without you. You know, as my mentor said, it was one of the gentlemen I was talking about that I met in Hawaii. He used to say to me, if you can't leave your business for 3 months, you don't own a business. It owns you. I thought that was brilliant. So at independence stage, you can be away for 3 months and your business operates really well without you. So you're independent from the business and the business runs independently from you. You're not required in the day-to-day processes of that business. But before you get to independence stage, there's a couple of stages you must move through. And there are a whole bunch of steps that you've got to do, move through those stages, which I'm not going into today. I may do at some other stage. But for most people here, you'll be at what we call the technician stage. Now, when you're at the technician stage, you have way too many roles to do in your business. And typically, as I said before, this happens because you weren't brought up in an education system that taught you anything different to being a resource and giving you a really strong, hard work ethic. So you go through school, train to upgrade your skills, train to do, you go get a job, and in the job you do, and the boss says, what a good doer you are. Okay? And so then you start up a business, and those are the sort of patterns of operating that you bring to that business. And instead of setting up the business at the start and putting team in place and having other people do things so there's operational efficiencies, and so that you're closer to that stage that we just looked at, you end up doing everything in your business. And it is a big mistake that 99% of business owners make. And they think they're saving money. So start the business, you're doing all these different roles. And as your business starts to get more successful, meaning there's more client flow, you'll find that you become a roadblock in the business. And also there's no efficiencies because you've got too much on, so nothing gets finished properly. You're rushing from here to there. You'll start to feel burnt out. You're doing roles that aren't in your natural gift profile, so you'll start to be impacted emotionally and mentally, and you won't have time for your family. And suddenly business will become nothing more than one big pain in the butt. Okay? So technician stage is not a great stage. A lot of hard work. Things don't work particularly well. And at this point, the business is not scalable because you are the roadblock in your business. So when a client comes to us and we're building them out of the business, first of all, we have to recognize that they are at technician stage, help them see that they're at technician stage, help them see that they've got too many roles, that they're the roadblock now. Why are they a roadblock, by the way? Because, again, nothing's being finished properly. And so if everything is waiting for you as a business owner to get that done or this done or that done, things aren't happening, things aren't moving. If staff have to come to you all the time and ask you this, that, and the next thing, and you've got to make executive decisions, again, same thing. You're a roadblock. There's no operational efficiencies, therefore it can't scale. So we now need to move. Remember, the end goal is the independence, where the person doesn't have to work in their business. So we have to get into the intermediate stage. In the intermediate stage, we're taking those roles, We're looking at the roles that they're doing. We do in-depth study, time analysis of where their effort and energy is going, what roles it's going into. And we start to get them to hand off a lot of the roles that they're doing in the business, the ones that don't suit their natural gifts and strengths. You see, at this point, we have to free them up. As we start to get them to delegate roles, what they're going to meet on the unconscious level is their unconscious resistance. So some of the unconscious resistance that we meet is a person thinks, oh, I can't afford this. Well, when you put someone into a role that you're doing to free yourself up, to spend more time working on your business, to spend more time marketing, as an example, that money that you think you're saving by doing those what we call low dollar productive jobs is made back many times over, just due to the operational efficiencies and just due to the focus and concentration onto high dollar return activities, which you can't do when you're doing these other roles thinking you're saving money. So you start to delegate the other roles out to other team members. And the only roles that you will hold on to are the strategic roles, which we're going to talk about in a second, and any role that's aligned with your natural gifts and strengths. And of course, everyone here has access to that. Just go and do my profiling system. You'll see it on the front page of my website. Go and find out what your gifts, strengths, and weaknesses are. Everything else goes to people, other people on your team, or you bring contractors on or bring new team members on, and you want them to be gifted and strong in the roles that you're weak at. And if you get your whole team built out that way, everyone's doing what they're designed to do, therefore having fun, enjoying it, and naturally they are good at it. So our aim, by the way, when a client first comes to work with us, is that within the first month, we want to get them to the point where they've now pulled back and they have an extra 15 to 20 hours a week because they've handed these other roles on. So once that they've got to this 15 or 20 hours a week, it's not like they're going to this stage now. There's lots of work to do, right? Because if you're moving from a technician stage business to this business, there's a whole to this stage, independent stage, there's a whole bunch of things that you need to do in your business. So once we get them to freed up 15 to 20 hours, and we've got other people now doing the roles that they were doing that they were once weak in, they'll be doing roles that they're strong in. So as an example, I love what I'm doing right now. It's something that fits within my gift profile. I love reading people. I've got an incredible accurate ability to look at a person and just know what unconscious patterns of beliefs are undermining their business or their investing. No other business coach we know of has that ability. So I love doing that. I could do that drunk. It's just natural. It's easy for me. So when the business owners at controller stage, they're holding some of the roles that they enjoy, work's blissful, becomes fun. And everyone else in the team's doing what they're good at, so they're enjoying that. So the other role, apart from working in the gift roles, is we have to get them, no, not here. Let me see, I thought I had the slide here. No, okay. We have to get them, once they get to conductor, we also now have to get them thinking completely differently about how they use their time. So to get to here, a couple of things that they're going to need to do is they're going to need to build out all their systems. But I want to go to a central form of thinking at this point. So once you get to the conductor stage, what you are is a controller of resources. You're not a resource anymore. You're a controller of resources. Just like the conductor here, he's not playing the bass and the fiddle. He is guiding everyone. Okay, he's got the vision of what he wants the music to be like, and he's telling the bass player to come in now. He's telling the violin section to come in, in a couple of more minutes' time. He's asking the drummers to be louder. Well, when you're at the conductor stage, that's what you're doing as a business person. You spend more time developing the vision, which you can't do when you're at technician stage. You're too busy working and doing. So you're developing the vision. You're working on your business plan, your strategies to get to that vision. And then you're allocating roles, tasks, and jobs to your team. They're the resource. You're putting capital to that. So that's another resource. Your strategies are another resource. That's IP. So you now become a controller of resources, which is what you were not programmed to be through your education system. You are educated to be a resource. So you can see, ultimately, once you reach independence stage, you are just nothing more than a controller of all resources. You control income-producing assets. So this is why at this stage, once we've freed up the time you're in conductor role, we now get you to concentrate on leveraging time. So leveraging time versus just using time in an unleveraged manner. So leveraging time. Yesterday I did a webinar. Now that webinar, I probably put about 5 hours into it. It was a bit of a pain of a webinar to create because I had to do it so quick. People have short attention spans these days, so I can't do what I used to do and really educate in depth. I've got to cut that down a bit. So I'll probably spend about 5 hours on that webinar. Now that webinar will keep doing its work for months. When I'm asleep, it's doing its work. That's leveraging time. Building out systems is leveraging time. So perfecting your systems, recruiting team members, recruiting a leadership team. That's all the development of resources. You're leveraging time to build out resources and assets for your business so you don't have to work. And this is one of the things that happens when you get to conductor stage. You only think about leveraging time and building out assets that work or resources that work for you. So once the person reaches conductor stage and they're concentrating on leveraging their time by building assets and resources, they can start to move out of their business as they bed those resources down, get them working, double check them, put a leadership team in, have control factors. And it's at that point when the person can start to move into the independence stage. Anyway, I hope you got a lot from that. I love sharing this. If you're watching and you're interested and you want some assistance, this is probably going to be available for a little bit, who knows, 24 hours or something, but come and do a strategy session with me. I'll look at your business completely. We'll be looking for the roadblocks. We'll be working together to provide you with a strategy to take you to the next level. I'll be looking inside of you to see what unconscious patterns are undermining you going to that next level, what that roadblock is. You'll see a link down below. Anyway, thank you. Oh, you mightn't, depend on where you watch this. Just go to my website. You'll see a strategy session and one of the drop-down menus is free. Book it. Thanks, everyone. Catch you.